Hey, what's up? This is Antonio. Welcome back to my channel. Now, who's ready for some fighting words? In this video, I want to talk about MJ, and I want to talk about Naoya Inoue. Really quick, if you like the videos, please take the time right now. Subscribe to the channel, and it literally takes one click. Also, if you could, hit that thumbs up button. It shows love and it supports the channel. And as I've been saying lately, please circulate the videos. Tell everybody about fighting words. I'm here to stay. So, recently, Inoue said MJ is his toughest challenge to date. And he's brought in some special sparring partners like to Palace. And that says a lot when you're bringing in, your former rivals to make you better. And that says a whole lot, I've always said in order to beat Naoya Inoue, you would have to have somebody who has a great gas tank, is very durable, very aggressive, throws a lot of punches, and is consistently moving. Who better can do that than somebody bringing that Soviet style? MJ. It's not the American style because that's not aggressive enough. It's not going to be any other. It's definitely not going to be like a UK style. That's not aggressive enough. Or what's going to be that style? It's going to be the Soviet style. The Soviet style is light on its feet. The Soviet style is constantly moving forward. The Soviet style is constantly throwing punches. The Soviet style is always moving. It's just always doing something. There's no rest with the Soviet style. MJ is a perfect example of that. Not to mention, people from that part of the world are just extremely durable and extremely tough. And when you put all that together, that screams big problem. Big problem for Inoue, because this is everything that, I feel like it's everything packaged in a person that will give him problems. You have Inoue who's very, he's kind of like a perfect fighter. He's very, how do I say? He's very thought out. Everything is calculated. Everything is calculated. Nothing is wasted. Everything is calculated. Everything is done in like one or two motions. And then he always goes back to reset. So whatever sequence he'll throw or combination he'll throw, he'll go right back to reset. Right after. Unless you're hurt, then it's something different. But right after, he'll go back to reset. You have somebody who's bringing that Soviet style. It's not a resetting type of style. It's a I'm always in position type of style. If you don't believe me, look at Dimitri Bivol. You don't believe me, look at Triple G. These guys are always in position because it's not an overextension of anything. And MJ, when you look at smaller fighters, these lightweights, these bantamweights, they're kind of like perfect in terms of technique. And they have a crazy cardio gas tank. Yeah, it's going to be difficult for Inoue. I do believe it's going to be difficult for Inoue because Inoue likes to reset. Inoue likes to be calculated. He likes to play chess. MJ is not a chess player. He doesn't play chess in there. He's more like a ball and chain that just keeps swinging around while you have, Inoue with his katana and he's just waiting to slice. And those are two contrasting styles, to meet up, because you have one, not to say that Inoue cannot fight off impulse, but I think he does his best work when he's fighting and he's thinking 2, 3, 4 moves ahead. While you're looking at MJ, who doesn't necessarily need to think ahead. He's strong enough and he's conditioned enough. He's durable enough. And he knows he can throw a gazillion punches. And it's okay if I move forward. And it's okay if I get hit. And it's okay if he does this, we could just do the dance. And that Soviet style is a lot to handle for anybody. For anybody, I don't care where you're from. For anybody, that Soviet style is more than enough to handle. And anybody who's ever been in there with somebody from that part of the world, they're going to say, these guys are tough. These guys are durable. These guys do not back down. These guys show no fear. These guys don't even smile, nonetheless show fear. And they can fight. They're light on their feet. MJ's light on his feet. So I think there's going to be a lot of, things that Inoue is great at that he's not going to be able to capitalize on that he's great at. And I think with this, it's going to be like, no, I'm going to have to stand my ground a lot more than what I typically do. Now, I don't think that's a problem for Inoue, because he said it even with the Stephen Fulton fight. He said, the problem with Americans are they don't like to get hit. And I know, because I'm in this ring, I'm going to get hit, but they don't like to get hit. And what he's saying is, I've already settled it within myself that when I step in this ring, I will put myself in harm's way. And therefore, I am content with getting harmed. You're going to have to. And I think he's going to have to be more flat-footed. I think one of the most interesting aspects when I'm thinking about this fight is who's going to be backing up? Who's going to be backing who up? And, there's a part of me that says, Inoue will find a way. Because the strong thing about Inoue is his ability to adapt. His ability to say, mid-fight, this is not working for me. And I need to stop doing it. It's getting me by, but it's not working. And then you have MJ, who's, I'll just step on the gas. I feel like when we look at mentalities, and MJ is more like I said this when I was doing the breakdown for Errol Spence and Terrence Bud Crawford, and I think these two kind of resemble those two. MJ is more like an Errol Spence where, if things aren't working, I'm just going to step on the gas. Worst case scenario, I'm going to step on the gas. If things are going great, I'm going to step on the gas. It doesn't matter. I'm just stepping on the gas. While you look at Inoue, who's more like Terrence Crawford, this isn't working, I'm just going to cancel it. I'm not doing it anymore. Or if this is working, I'm going to do more of this, and now I'm going to blend it with this. I'm going to keep trying things. Every time, that bell rings, I'm going to keep trying things until I get it right. I'm just fine-tuning myself for you. While you look at MJ/Earl Spence, no, I'm just going to step on the gas. And we're going to see where this takes me while I'm stepping on the gas. If we're already at 80 miles an hour, can you keep up with my pace? Okay, well, you're keeping up. What about 85? What about 90? What about 95? What about 100? Can you keep up with the pace? Can you keep up with the onslaught? Are you getting tired? Are you getting hurt? Are you getting bruised up? Mentally, are you waning in any way, stage, or form? But you look at Inoue, he doesn't think like that. He thinks, all right, well, he said it in the Cardenas fight when he got dropped. And he said it after the fight. I'm not getting hit with that punch again. You know what that means? I can think mid-fight. You know what that means? I can outthink you. You know what that means? I'm going to have to do things to get you to do certain things so that won't happen, or you won't be presented with that particular punch again. Inoue's a thinker. But with that much force coming after him, I haven't seen him in a ring with, Tapales was a hard, Donaire was a hard fight. But I don't think they possess what MJ possesses in terms of ferocity. I just don't. I don't think, because Tapales was weaning down, and I don't think MJ's that type of guy. I just don't think he's that type of guy. I don't think he's the type that's like, well, I'm losing, now I'm just going to be in survival mode. No, it's like I'm losing. I'm just going to throw it all to the wind and go balls to the wall. Why? Because I'm losing. If I'm winning, I'm going to go balls to the wall because I'm winning. But if I'm losing, I'm going to go balls to the wall because I'm losing. So either way, I'm going balls to the wall. So I think there's a lot of aspects to this fight. And when I look at this fight, I'm like, that's a lot that Inoue is going to have to go up against. That Soviet style is just not easy to deal with. And I don't care who you are or where you're from. It's just not easy to deal with. But I feel like he's going to have to be more flat-footed. I'm very interested to see who's going to be taking the back steps throughout the duration of the fight. And I think Inoue can outthink MJ. But he's also going to have to get like a lot of respect early so that there couldn't be some respect, like, well, keep your distance so I can think. Because if you break distance, then I'm going to have to react to you breaking distance. And then, you know, like, we're just going to be clashing all night. And that it's just going to be like that. It's going to be just a bunch of thunderbolts just banging into each other. But I do see Inoue thinking his way around this. And maybe it's like mid-fight. Maybe it's like, 6, 7, 8 or 7, 8, 9. But I think early on, MJ might have his way. I think early on, MJ might be muscling Inoue around. And then I think Inoue figures it out around 7, 8, 9. And then he pours it on. And he's like, you know what? You can have that. You want to be the aggressor? You want to lead this dance? By all means. I'm going to counterpunch you into oblivion. That's what I'm going to do. And because he also has the ability to do that. This is an interesting fight. I will be doing another fight breakdown because I have thought more about this fight and I've looked at more, footage and tape on both guys. Not to mention, MJ has supposedly like hundreds of amateur fights, and I don't doubt that. I mean, everybody from like, the eastern part of the world, they all have like a gazillion fights. What was it? Gennady Golovkin has like 300 or something like that. So I don't doubt it. So typically, when I look at Naoya Inoue, it's like, well, he has that and he has the pedigree but then I'm like, yeah, but now you're going up against a guy who can say the same thing. He can literally say the same thing. There's still one thing that Inoue has that MJ does not have. I've gone up consistently, and I've been number one consistently, and I've smashed everyone and everything in my path with a belt around their waist and taken that belt. He can say that. So the mental aspect of this fight, I still think, is largely on the side of Inoue, by far. I think it is. This is MJ's chance. I think it's his shot. I think he's felt for a very long time, with the help of Eddie Hearn, that he's been slighted, and Inoue didn't want to fight him, and Inoue was trying to avoid him. And if this is your shot, you're going to see the best MJ you're ever going to see, ever. You're going to see the best you're ever going to see. And with Inoue already saying he's the best opponent I've ever faced, I know for a fact he's going to be the best. And the fact that he brought into Palace and he brought in past opponents to help get him ready for this guy, we are talking about spontaneous combustion.